Some time ago now I did a video tutorial on a photographic 3D cube. It was actually, the cube itself was actually part of the filter menu. It has long since disappeared. You could at one stage download it off the internet. I don't think it's even there now. So what I thought we'd do is create our own photographic cube. To make a start, on the layers panel we're going to put in a new empty layer. Coming across the toolbox, we're going to pick up the rectangular marquee tool. But before you click down, press and hold down the shift key. That will ensure you get a perfect square. Right, for the next stage we're going to pick up the gradient tool. I've got the linear gradient, the default colors, just going to pull it across. There it is, Command D or Control D to get rid of the selection. Now for the next stage we're going to duplicate this layer, Command J or Control J, and we're going to switch this off. Right, working on layer 1 copy here, we're going to come to the edit menu. We're going to go to free transform, which puts the transform tool around there. Now if you look at the top here, we've got a menu bar with all these figures. We're going to come to the width, we're going to swipe across and we're going to put in 70. We're going to come to the height and just ensure you keep the percentage sign in there. We're going to put in 90. And we're going to come to the V dimension and we're going to put in -25. So that's put it up on the tilt like that. Right, next hit enter on the keyboard to apply the transform. We're now going to duplicate this layer using Command or Control J. Back to edit, transform, flip horizontal, there it is, and just pressing Command or Control we can move this into position. There is the second part of our cube. The lid of our box, there it is, there's hiding behind the other two, so we're going to grab hold of this layer, we're going to lift it up until we see that black line on the top. It now drops in on the top. Command or Control T for the transform tool. This time where the angle is up there, we're just simply going to swipe across. You can see it's got a little tiny percentage sign up there. We're going to put in 45. So that's now put it on the top, so we can lift it in. There's the lid of our box. Pressing the Alt or the Option key and holding down the Alt or the Option key, we can now bring this in and we can drop it, firmly closing our box and pressing Enter or Return. Looks pretty good. You can see it's out on the corner there, so let's zoom right in using Command or Control Spacebar. Let's take a look at this. That's a good edge there, that's a good edge, that's a bad one, so we're just going to use Command T. Let's pop that in out of the way, and with the free transform we can just knock it in a little bit, enter or return to apply it. Right, the reason for using the gradient tool, it just allows us to see the various corners as we did. If you use a solid color it's a little bit more difficult. Right, next we're going to start popping in some images. So working on this one on layer 1, going to come over the thumbnail, going to press down Command or Control. You can see the way the cursor changes, got that square on the back. Clicking down, there's a selection. Let's just take a look. What have we got? Perhaps that one there would be pretty good, so I'm going to use Command A, Command C, so that's Control A on a PC and it's Control C on a PC. That has copied it. Let's come to this layer here and we're going to go to Edit and we're going to drop down to Paste Into. In other words, it's going to paste it into that selection. In it goes with a mask. This is ideal because we can actually replace this at any time. We can use this as a template. Right, going to use Control T or Command T, making sure we're working on it. First of all, Control or Command T, swing it round like that. Now with this one we're actually working on the sort of mask itself. Right, so make sure, I'm just going to press return. I'm going to use Command or Control Z. Make sure you're working on the image. So that's one little tip there. Don't make sure you're working on the mask, make sure you're working on the image. So the framework from there has to be on the image itself. That is the reason for making that deliberate mistake, so I can show you how to do this. Believe that, you believe anything. Bringing the cursor inside, we're going to choose Distort. We can now bring the sides in. We're going to bring this edge in like that, and if I just zoom out a little bit more, so we got the grab handles there as well and the grab handle from there. We can now zoom back in again. Let's take a look. Zoom out a little bit too far there, so let's pop him and just bringing this down. This will give the idea that it's sort of flat, bringing the sun in like this. looks pretty good. Let's lift that up a little bit as well, and down a bit. Once you press enter, it applies it and it pops. Job done. We can switch this one off. Let's go to the next layer down. So it's layer 1 copy. So it's this side of the box we're now working on. Pressing Command or Control. There it is. There's our selection. Let's pick up this one here. I think it's going to be. Yep. So it's once again Command A or Control A. Then Command C or Control C to copy it. We're going to go back to our original. Once again it's Edit, and we're going to use Paste Into. It's arrived. Zoom in out, and we're going to use Command or Control T for the transform tool. Just swing him around a bit, and once again we're going to go for Distort, and we're just going to pull this in. I need to zoom out a little bit more just to get my grab handle there, and zoom that down and bring that in like this. Just taking care, I want to bring the sunset in there, so there's two suns there that almost line up. They are, just to complete the effect. Bringing that in, bringing these corners in a little bit, just so I make sure I get all his surfboard in. Great stuff. That's looking pretty good. Pressing enter or return, in it pops. Right, just coming down and switching this one off to the next one there. What we're now going to do with this is exactly the same, repeating the process of clicking, pressing down Command or Control, and we're going to pick up these three here. Command or Control A will select it, Command C or Control C to copy it, coming back, and it's back to the Edit and back to Paste Into. They've arrived. Command T for the transform tool, and if I zoom right out we shall see it, and once again it's Distort. So we can now lift this around like that, popping that into the corner, dragging that one down, and that one down like this, and just lifting those around until we get it sort of, you want to keep that square look as if you are looking at the edge of a block like that. That is important. That's why the Distort tool works so well. So bringing it in, bringing that in, and once you're happy, press enter or return. Job done. Right, now what we can do is we can lift these up together. So picking on this layer here, lifting it up, dropping it underneath, lifting this image layer up, popping that underneath. That's leaving us with these three for our block. So now what we're going to do with these is clicking on layer 1, and we're going to use the shortcut Command E or Control E, which is going to merge it down with the layer underneath. Repeating that, Command E or Control E, merged it down with the layer underneath. There is our cube. What we're going to do with this now is exactly the same sort of thing. We're going to press that Command or Control, clicking on it, so there's our selection, and we want to fill it with black. So we can go to the Edit, we can go to Fill, and we can come foreground color, black, yep, that's fine, and click OK. Job done. Command D to get rid of the actual sort of selection around there. If we switch these back on, what we can now do is we can go to Filter. Don't forget we're working on this layer here. We can go to Filter, we can go to Blur, we can go to Gaussian Blur, and we can blur it, and that's blurring it by 32.8 pixels, and you can see the way you can make that disappear from the edge there, or bring it out over. That was pretty good where it was. And if we just pick up the Move tool, press V on the keyboard, you can move. There's our drop shadow behind there. I'm going to place it down in that direction there, just a little bit strong, so reducing the opacity down. I just want to give it that 3D impression there, and you can see the way that just makes that box jump out a little bit more. Let's zoom in a bit. Just going to double click on the hand tool, we'll put us in right to fill frame, and there it is. There is our finished image, and let's pop it on a black background, and let's press tab on the keyboard to remove all the tools. There is our 3D star image. Once you've set it up, you can use it as a template. It just becomes very easy then to switch the images inside there. But go on, give it a try. My name's David, and until the next time, happy imaging and take care.